Welcome to Swanson's Thoughts. I'm Swanson.
And I'm Thoughts.
In our first podcast tonight, we're going to be talking about Kobe Bryant, the Super Bowl, and whatever else thoughts pops into our head.
We're coming to you from Yachtco Beverage House in Youngsville, North Carolina tonight to bring you everything relevant in sports and give you a lowdown on what we're looking forward to this weekend and some tragic events that have passed us this past week here. First, I'd like to start off with how do you feel about Kobe Bryant, Swanson? I mean, big loss for the...
It's a big loss for the game, everything he was doing, not only for the NBA, but also for the WNBA and his daughter. And that's also what makes it a tragedy. Adds to it is the fact that such a young life was lost. That was just finding her love for the game, and Kobe helped a lot of us in our generation find our love for the game.
Yeah, I really think he was more than just a love for the game guy when it comes to basketball. I think he really helped a lot of kids develop a passion for whatever sports they wanted. For me, I can say as a kid, between him and Derek Jeter, two pretty big athletes as far as their work ethic goes and what their drive was to be the greatest there was. I mean, Kobe Bryant, there was no other player in any professional major sport that spent more time playing for a team than Kobe Bryant did with Los Angeles.
Yeah, part of it is that it's that Mamba mentality, and his always saying, dare to do something, don't be afraid of the challenge. And that's ultimately how this podcast came to be in a way, was we talked about it, but instead of just letting it go, we stayed with it. But, at the end of the day, you're talking about someone that played 20 years in the league, 5-time champion, 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA player, all-defensive team, led his team in assists, steals, blocks. You're talking about a once-in-a-generation type player. I look back on it, second grade, at Kobe Bryant folder.
Kobe Bryant folders, man. There was nothing better. It's like owning a pair of Allen Iverson shoes with his face on the bottom. It's one of the greatest things.
Some of the best in the game right there. But no, it was that. It was KG on the Timberwolves. It was Dirk with his fadeaway on the Mavs. But it's a sad thing losing some of that magnitude, but also the fact that his daughter was there with him, and the loss of the other lives as well. That goes without saying. Every life has an importance, and you talk about a junior college coach.
Certainly, that was definitely a shocker to the baseball community. The coach had over 700 wins, I believe 4 or 5 state titles in California.
And as the season's about to be getting started as well.
Yep, I think they just had a game the other day, and
they did a scrimmage, I believe, with USC.
Yes.
So and USC traveled to them, so that's here's the USC on that one.
I believe it's definitely a hard time for all those families, and everybody should give them their space. But I believe that everybody reaching out and showing them the love, what they had for Kobe, and even the other families that were affected by this tragedy from this past Sunday, definitely appreciate all the love that they're getting just to kind of relieve themselves.
It was a global thing as well. And you're talking about a guy that was not bilingual but trilingual.
Yep.
Was fluent in Spanish, fluent in Italian, and I heard a wonderful quote from Stephen A. the other day, was joking about learning a fourth in German.
That's incredible, man. That one shows you how intelligent, how hardworking Kobe Bryant was.
Yep.
Not many kids will ever understand who the number 8 Kobe Bryant was. And, a lot of kids I know now only saw the number 24.
Yep.
And as much as 24 was still a great player, number 8 was a cold-blooded killer.
Eight was where the legacy started. And I don't think there's another player in NBA history that will have 2 numbers, retired.
No.
You could almost argue LeBron with his number 6 in Miami and winning the championships there. But LeBron is known as the 23. Kobe is known for the 8 in the 24.
So my question for you is as the league is starting to talk about retiring numbers and him going to the Hall of Fame, and they're just going to basically just let him walk in essentially, posthumously, that it's going to be his show. It's going to be an honor to him.
Yes.
Do you believe that they should retire both 8 and 24 from the league completely?
That's a tough question right there. I being more of a college fan than a pro fan, I like the fact that you have the numbers that match your hands and reffing and stuff like that. So the most you'll ever see is 55. You can't have an 8. 5's the greatest you would have there. But I think the Lakers should. I could see the Clippers doing it. I know the Mavs have already gone out and said that there will be no one that does it. But I think that's a hard thing is retiring it for the whole league. But when you're great, you're great. But you could argue, should 23 be retired?
Agreed.
For Jordan.
Yeah, well, here we are. And I think hopefully this doesn't happen anytime in the near future because Jordan is also still an influential player to the kids in the 80s and the 90s as much as Kobe was to more of our generation. I believe 23 will eventually be retired by the whole league, but I also believe we should retire at least one of his numbers, whether it's 8 or 24.
Right, and that's the thing. I think it should be 8, not 24.
Right.
8 was, but it's all about generations. So 8 was, the tail end of the, our Kobe part there, and when he really was dominating the game and winning more championships. And then the new kids on the block showed up with your Wade. Dirk ended up getting one. LeBron came on the scene, and 24 Kobe, I think, had one championship. I don't know if he got a second, but 8.
Yeah.
Kobe had 3 minimum, 4 as the other, and I think 8 Kobe was the dominant player of the game.
Yes, I think 8 Kobe was the most dominant player after Jordan had left the league. I mean, and not only that, I want you to think about how great of a player Kobe was. He played Melo in his prime. He played D. Wade in his prime.
Yep.
He played LeBron. He played Dirk. He played Jimmy Butler. He played Derrick Rose in
those
prime.
Those Lakers Celtics championship games. There were 2 of them.
KG, Pierce,
with
Rondo,
Allen. Yep, Allen. And and that's the thing. And what I think is halfway fitting is as Michael passed the game back to Kobe. Kobe's one of his last tweets was at LeBron congratulating him for passing it, passing him on the scoring chart. And is that a passing of the torch to LeBron? Obviously a Laker now. And that's another conversation is at least the Lakers have a superstar that I believe can carry that burden of this untimely tragedy.
Yeah.
But at least it's going to be all eyes on the Lakers, especially in that first game. And at least there's LeBron who's dealt with, haters and stuff when he went to Miami. He knows what it's like to always be in the spotlight. And I think that's what the Lakers need. If they didn't have LeBron right now, there's no way AD's there.
I definitely do think that LeBron being in LA is a huge boost, one, to the city because it gives somebody, it gives them basically their dark night to look at and say, hey, we're looking to you to have a little hope because, and I don't ever want to compare, Kobe Bryant death to 9/11 or anything like that, but you got to think of it in the sense that when that happened, the city of New York, they lost a huge piece of themselves, and the country lost a huge piece of themselves. But Kobe Bryant, also in his passing, there's kids out there that don't know who he is, they just know him as a basketball player, but then you have people who, are 20 to 30 to 40 years old that he is one of the greatest to play. He's one of the best to ever do it. He did everything the right way, and he made no friends and took no prisoners. He just did it how he had to do it.
It was that Mamba mentality.
And
then seeing him how he is now.
And he was even a better human being after his career. And honestly, I've heard it on Golic and Wingo and multiple other stations, but I believe his second career was going to be his best one as far as his family life and everything.
That's what I'm saying. He made, hashtag girl dad.
Girl dad.
Trending in America, and that's absolutely fantastic.
It is.
But his love for all 4 of his daughters was easily greater than his love for basketball.
And it hands down was. I mean, the videos of him and Gianna on the bench, just talking about different aspects of the game and going through things.
Those are the moments you dream of, I feel like, as a father.
It is. And me with a child on the way, I can't wait to share those moments with my son or daughter or sons and daughters. And that way we can sit there at a ball game and say, this guy's probably going to be throwing a fastball in this situation, and you watch how he tips his pitch here, and you watch this. But Kobe was both a student of the game, a teacher, and a professor. He did everything that you look for in a legendary, heroic player that basketball needed when they had him.
Oh, 100%. And I had a friend send me something today, and in their classroom, she had all of their kids write down what they were afraid of or trouble they were going through.
Right.
Had them crinkle the paper up and then yell Kobe as they shot it in the trash. as in getting away of their fears, getting rid of their troubles. That's really,
It
the
is,
impact
man.
he had on people of all sorts.
And Kobe was a huge factor in the people getting rid of their fears because, the kid went into the league at 18 years old,
Yep.
and he definitely stood up to the test of time and said, I'm here and I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna make the best out of my career and the chances I'm given. And lo and behold, we're talking about a guy 24 years later, actually, since '96, since he entered the league, that he's going to be one of the greatest players ever played. I mean, personally, in my top 5, he's in there. I think he was just one of the best to ever play the game and one of the best human beings that you could get out of what basketball gives to you. And I think he's set the stage big for what a lot of people need to do for kids and communities as well.
Yep. And that's the lasting impact that he will always have. He wasn't just a basketball player. He was far greater than that, and it's definitely a life that will truly be lost by the world.
It is
not just the sport.
And speaking of hard work and everything that Kobe showed, moving into a more lighter subject, with the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, Patrick Mahomes and all these guys reached out and they were all devastated by this because Kobe Bryant was such a
great media
part of their great media day. I mean, it was an all around just overwhelming response to how they felt about him. And we do still have a football game this weekend that we have to play and get to, and I think it'll be a good one. I think there'll be a lot of things with Kobe, and I think we're gonna.
I imagine there'll be a moment of silence for the game, and it's well earned.
Well earned.
Well earned.
And I can't wait to see the game this weekend.
54th Super Bowl.
Yep, 54th Super Bowl. What is this? The Chiefs' first Super Bowl in 50 years?
Yeah, it's been a while. You got the Chiefs, 2 seed in the AFC, 12-4. Going against the 49ers, the 1 seed out of the NFC, 13-3. Going down in Miami. Right now, the betting line, Chiefs 5-1. You talk about, seriously.
If I had to put money on something, I'm putting money on the Chiefs to take this one home.
100%.
You got Patrick Mahomes improvising.
But favorite by 1, that's more or less, you're giving us money, people. You're giving us money.
You're telling me that if I don't bet on the Chiefs, I'm stupid, is what you're kind of saying.
Yeah. Jeez. That offense is too much. The way Mahomes is slinging that thing right now.
They're just too high-powered. There's nothing that I do believe that the 49ers pass rush is going to get to him a little bit, but what are you going to do? The guy has a howitzer for an arm. He's launching it downfield. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got Sammy Watkins. He's got Robinson Williams. He's got weapons all over the field.
Kelce's the ultimate safety blanket. And even in the times when Hill was out, whether it was injury or suspension, you still had McCole Hardman that had the blazing speed, the cheetah speed to get by anyone that was in a weak secondary. Granted, they're playing the Broncos, the Raiders, and who is it? And the Chargers, right? Isn't that their team?
Yep, the Chargers as well.
None of which are known for having the strongest secondaries. But, you saw them take down other heavy-powered offenses.
You saw what they did to the Ravens. They decimated the Ravens, and fortunately Lamar Jackson brought them back into that game. But the Chiefs, man, they're just, it's a high-powered offense all the way through.
And that's the thing. People question the Chiefs' defense. Well, hey, I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't trust him one bit. There's only one reason the Patriots ever get rid of a player. It's because they don't benefit that team ultimately.
They don't benefit them if Bill Belichick doesn't want them.
It's one of those. Did Jacoby Brissett have a good season for the Colts? It was a marginal season. I think 7-9 was the finish.
Yes.
But the Patriots got back, I believe, 2 picks from it.
Yep.
And bettered the. It's all about the do your job, the team. But Mahomes can go and take down that.
Mahomes is a system killer, and I do believe Garoppolo probably would have thrived in the Belichick system since it's a system offense.
I agree. But you can argue the same thing for Mahomes.
Yes.
If Andy Reid was still an Eagles coach, Mahomes is on those Eagles teams with T.O. Are we sitting here saying Mahomes to T.O. is better than McNabb to T.O.? Or are they the same?
I don't know how to say that because I believe McNabb was definitely by far one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. He had the versatility of moving out of the pocket. He could be a hit. He could throw the ball. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's a good quarterback. He'll get you to the Super Bowl. I don't think he can win.
What's the difference? Last year they're 4-12. obviously, he got hurt and didn't play.
The difference is Nick Bosa. That's the difference.
How do you go 4-12 to 13-3 NFC best?
The difference is in Nick Bosa. You tank, you get the guy. You all of a sudden you got a powerhouse defense, and there you are in the Super Bowl.
Well, that defense got them there. Their D line is 5 first-round picks.
It is. And Solomon Thomas really is a bust. The only reason he's having a good year is because
they wanted to trade. I'm just saying.
What I see Sunday is I see Patty Mahomes for 350, for 3 touchdowns and 1 pick, and that 1 pick comes on a zone 3 coverage from Richard Sherman that gets tipped up in the air by Tyreek Hill. That's the only one I see happening, and it ain't going anywhere because they're gonna hit him right there.
Let's talk. So Garoppolo here. They finished San Francisco's offense, finished second in the NFL, 479 points, 4th in yards, 6,079. Garoppolo himself, 69.1% of his passes, which is 4th, 3,978 yards, 27 touchdowns, which is 5th, and 13 interceptions. But when you break that down, that's almost a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. And
I totally get what you're saying there. I mean,
with George Kittle. You have a solid weapon as well there, just like Kelsey.
What I like about the 49ers is that they have a solid and stout offense. I do believe that the Chiefs will be able to shut them down. I mean, you got Frank Clark, Chris Jones. I mean, Drew Sorensen, man. I'm talking about a guy coming on. I mean, he is absolutely flying all over the field. He's a ball hawk. He is a ball hawk, and he is in your face no matter what.
I tell you, it's interesting. D Ford getting traded to the 49ers now gives us a chance at the revenge. And Andy, he had nothing but respect when talking about him to the media. War Eagle to him, by the way.
And I mean, D Ford, don't get me wrong, great player, but how about that shade going on there from Frank Clark to D Ford? I mean, that just makes for a great week right there. I mean, it's a good time all around when you always make fun of your former teammates and just have a good time. But, let's hit something here on the defensive stats just here a little bit. You got
fierce yards allowed.
Yeah, fierce yards allowed. So let's go ahead and pull up these defensive stats. But one thing I want to let you know first, though, is Frank Clark, more sacks than Nick Bosa.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, it's one of those things. Bosa's to me, They're good when they're healthy, but they're rarely healthy.
Yeah. I mean, Nick Bosa missed the whole final season at Ohio State they had there?
I would say almost Bosa's are similar to Rob Gronkowski. Hear me out there. They're great when they're there, but they're rarely there. And that's the thing. It's always a back problem or a leg problem.
And you can't have that in the NFL.
No.
You got to be healthy all the time. It does. And here's the thing is, and I do apologize, I misspoke. The Frank Clark and Nick Bosa sack thing was actually for the playoffs only. I did misspeak there for a second. But I do think, though, as far from a defensive standpoint, that Nick Bosa is as good as the guys around him.
Yep.
But I also do believe he has the speed that he's going to hawk you down because he is fast. He's quick off the ball.
Well, I think his energy adds, to the team. He's a hype man that's a tad bit above average.
Yes. I do believe what you're saying there.
Feeds off of it there.
And
here's the thing. So, fewest passing yards in the NFL, 49ers.
Wow.
But you have Sherman. Halfway old now. If Sherman lines up against Tyreek Hill, who you taking? If it's a go route.
Sherman, Tyreek Hill. I'm taking Tyreek Hill. He's burning him by 10 yards.
100% of the time. And that's the thing. The Chiefs line is not the worst in the in the NFL. It's not the best by any means, but it's serviceable enough, and with Mahomes' legs, to get the job done and hit some deep routes and expose Sherman for what he is these days.
I mean, Mahomes just makes things happen. I mean, you saw what he did against the Texans. He got out there and had a 30-yard run. And he's not fast. He ran the same 40 time as Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, the guy who can't run.
Slower than Jimmy G. I want to say Jimmy G was in the 4.8 range. And putting that in perspective,
I believe Jimmy G was a 4.68, while Patrick Mahomes was a 4.88.
But putting that in perspective, Carson Wentz is a 4.7. Andy Dalton's a 4.8.
Yeah.
It's not like we're talking about blazing speed over here.
Not at all. I mean, what I like about Patrick Mahomes against this defense is he is an improviser. And he moves around, gets the ball out of the pocket. And the fact that he has Tyreek Hill out there that will come back to him. I mean, this is what I see. I see a Big Ben and Antonio Brown scenario here where they're on the same page. They know where to be. He knows where to be.
Yep.
And they get together.
And if not, you have a better tight end
Yes.
than what Ben, I believe, more or less ever had. Kelsey is one of the greatest tight ends by the time he retires, I think, in the NFL.
By far. I mean, Ben had Heath Miller for, 6-7 years?
Right, but still.
It was over.
He's not putting up the numbers that Kelsey's putting up.
No.
And what I love is this is a tight end matchup.
It is.
You have Kelsey, you have Kittle. First time ever, 2 over 1,000-yard receiving tight ends in the same game.
No, it's going to be a great matchup. Because, I mean, I think Kittle does a great job blocking and getting out and opening up the seam. But I believe Kelsey, man, that guy's he's another animal. He's a different animal and the same beast at the same time.
Is Iowa tight end you? You think about what comes out of that. Is Iowa tight end you?
That's a great point right there. And they grow them big out there with all that corn they feed them.
Hey, you got that. Noah Fant came on at the end of the year. Looked sharp for the Broncos. Drew Lock, don't think that's the end.
Yeah, Drew, I believe your time is up out in Denver. I think you've run your course there, pal.
Going forward, obviously we know who's here in Super Bowl 54. Who's there in Super Bowl 55?
Ooh.
Who are you putting your money on next season?
That's a tough question there because there's a lot of teams returning a lot of talent.
I know you want to say Steelers. I want to say Jets.
Well,
who knows?
We know the Jets won't be there with Sammy D and the backup. I don't think the Eagles can be there because I don't think Carson Wentz is going to stay healthy. If Tom Brady comes back to the Patriots, I think they got a legitimate chance. I also do believe that the Steelers, I think they return enough in the defensive side of the ball with enough skill position between Connor and Schuster to be able to make a run at it with Deontay Johnson coming off a great year as a rookie. I'll be excited to see what Cleveland does. See how they turn that around.
The offensive coordinator they just hired, though, don't love the hire.
Not good hire.
No.
But what I do like, though, is, and I hate to say this, but I like the Ravens next year.
Really?
I think Lamar Jackson's starting to come into a better passer. I do think he has that key trait to be a good passer. I also believe that he can be where you need a above average to I don't want to say Tom Brady-esque, but like a more of a Phillip Rivers type quarterback. He's going to get you there. He's going to give you the minutes. He's going to play his heart out.
Speaking of Phillip.
Yep, Phillip Rivers.
Got to give Phillip a minute here, especially in the state of North Carolina. Where does Phillip Rivers end up next year?
I believe he is going to be donning Buckeye red.
Tampa Bay.
Yes.
So, I could see that with Bruce Arians. Good situation. Family there in Florida. Yep. No income tax. 9 kids. Got to pay for all that eventually.
Yeah, I mean that catches up to you for a while. That's a lot of college tuition you got to pay out if they don't have scholarships.
That's for dang sure.
But I think if the Buccaneers do get him, I think Bruce Arians might win a Super Bowl down there. I think they're a legitimate contender if they can get Phil.
I agree, and if Breeze comes back to the Saints, that's one of the oldest quarterback divisions.
Yes.
If not the oldest quarterback division with Breeze, Rivers. Matt Ryan's not getting any younger. And who the heck knows who's going to be the Panthers quarterback?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you there, right there, about the NFC South. I mean, who do you think you got? Cam Newton?
I think Panthers get rid of them, and I like a hidden deal to Miami. Miami's got picks, cap space, and the Panthers can load up in other areas, take a second-round waiver, on a quarterback, and eat the first 1 to 2 years of the Matt Rule era.
Well, so here we are talking about Miami now with what their picks are and everything. Do you think that Miami trades with Cincinnati to get that first overall to take Joe Burrow?
No, they're not a Joe Burrow fan. They're a Tua Tagovailoa fan.
Oof.
Have been from day one.
Oof.
And I'm not sure Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati is the best option.
I don't think so either.
There's no weapons. What did he have at LSU? Weapons. Weapons at running back, receiver. Thaddeus Moss is tied in.
He had weapons on the offensive line. I mean, the guy was stacked. He had a team that could just do it all.
Yep.
I think that him going to Cincinnati is going to be tough. I think he's got a good future ahead of him. But
here's my thing. I think LSU has the most draft picks out of any college team this upcoming draft. I think the end Bama's 7-year stretch of having most people drafted. That's how talented that team was in all areas.
And I firmly believe that I think this LSU team was probably one of the more talented college football teams to ever come out of the modern college football era.
Can't argue. But what is that? Is it Joe Burrow? Was it Joe Brady's system? Is it Ed Ogeron just firing those Cajun boys up? What is it?
I think it was a combination of a lot of things. I mean, Ed O is definitely a hell of a coach. I mean, the guy had everything going for him.
Yeah.
And
USC missed out when they passed him up to, and he got to go to LSU.
Yeah, they did. They passed up on a hell of a coach. And, I wish Ed O the best down there at LSU and hope that he brings
100%.
back another natty to Baton Rouge. I mean, I think that's a phenomenal
It's not
job.
going to happen. It's not going to happen next year.
It's definitely not going to happen.
Clemson's going to be back. And, and I could see a Tiger-on-Tiger matchup again next year with my Auburn Tigers.
I don't know, man. I think I've got
Go Knicks, man.
I think I've got an Ohio State Clemson rematch.
I think Ohio State makes it. Justin Fields is doing big things up there.
Yep.
Clemson's going to make it. They don't play nobody.
They don't play nobody, Paul.
They don't play
just
nobody,
ask Paul Feinbaum. They don't play
They
anybody.
don't play nobody.
Paul Feinbaum.
You're going to have your
believes-
SEC team.
Yep.
Auburn's schedule is the easiest it's been in 5 years. You're returning your quarterback. Bo Nix to Seth Williams is a combination that won you a lot of money this season. You can't argue otherwise, buddy.
But
And then that 14.
but they don't play
It's going to
nobody.
be Oklahoma because that's who it always is.
They don't
the
play
voters
nobody.
never learn. And Oklahoma is going to either have their graduate transfer or it's going to be Spencer Rattler.
You know what? This is what I got to say about Auburn. And this is the one thing that everybody needs to remember and needs to remember forever. They will not win you a bloomin' onion. Just remember that because that's all you need to know.
Everyone
When
wants
they
to
go
cook
meet
in
Carolina
the
next year in the Chick-fil-A
Oh,
kickoff
my
bowl,
goodness.
they're going to get smoked by Sam Howell, Daz Newsome, and that whole offense. That offense is going to be the best offense in all of college football next year.
We'll be
Put your
there.
money on
Make
it.
sure if you're going to be there, tweet us at Swanson's Thoughts. What you think, what your score predictions are on that Auburn.
Come hang out with us at our tailgate. We'll be packing pretty deep with IC Lights and Labatt Blues.
We'll have koozies, hats, shirts, all that good stuff.
Maybe you do a swag giveaway or something, depending on how we
Heck
feel
yeah,
that day.
why not?
Why not?
Why not?
We'll be there.
Moving on, beer of the night.
Beer of the night. We're going to start with Labatt Blue Light. Got to watch the calories for the figure.
Fantastic beverage. Canada's finest Pilsner. Our fans love it. We love it. You love it.
Shout out to the motherland. Can't really thank Canada enough for sending that to us. We believe it's one of those things that you can't give up tasting quality beer. I mean, it's got the perfect blend of just water and alcohol.
Hey,
I mean, that's all
light,
that you need.
refreshing, crisp after you have a nice adult league basketball game, softball
You're right.
game, kickball game. We can rehydrate the body.
Nothing like
Labatt
Labatt Blue.
Light.
And that'll wrap up our beer of the week segment tonight. And Swanson, back to you.
We're going to go to our Twitter page to see some of the questions that we've had sent in this week. Make sure to tweet us, for the upcoming shows, upcoming weeks, at Swanson's Thoughts on the old Twitter. Same thing, follow us on Instagram as well. You can tag, message, whatever, send us your questions. First one comes in from at Catfish. Who would you rather have, Andy Dalton or Carson Wentz, and why?
That's a tough one. I'm going to have to go with Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
I think he's got a better arm. And I don't think Cincinnati's really given him anything to work with. I think he's had A.J. Green, but he doesn't have O-line. He's also probably playing in one of the more tougher divisions in all of football.
Right, but him making the playoffs, does that say something about it?
I think so. I mean, he's constantly making the playoffs. He stays healthy. I mean, the guy really never gets hurt. He's always there. Yes, they did bench him this year for a little while for that quarterback from State, Ryan Finley. Not a very good season for that guy, but I digress. So, next question.
Here's my thought on the matter.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
I'd take Carson Wentz. Little better of a runner.
Until he gets knocked in the head.
If anyone gets knocked in the head, we're out. But a little bit different of a runner. Granted, it's only a point of a tenth of a second. So just pulled it up. Andy Dalton, 4.840. Carson Wentz, 4.740. However, it feels like they play the game at a different speed. Wentz has better weapons. If you put Wentz in Cincinnati, at least he's got A.J. Green. Has Carson Wentz ever had a receiver to the capability of A.J. Green?
Well, no, because he has Nelson Aguilar who can't catch a ball.
Exactly. But he has his tight end. But we look back on it, the Bengals had the tight end before he always got hurt. Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
That was his security blanket. So you look at who did more with what. Wentz was having an MVP type season, got his team Super Bowl prepared before they took down evil Giants.
Well, no, and I can completely agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe Carson Wentz is a very talented quarterback, and I do believe he needs more weapons in Philadelphia. But I mean, I can't follow the Wentz train, man. He's not my guy, and really, Andy Dalton's not my guy. I got to say, those guys don't have great careers, even though they've both been in playoffs. I mean, Carson Wentz can't stay healthy, and I think he could be a better quarterback if he does stay healthy.
Yep.
But I think his career's going to be short because he always stays hurt.
He stays hurt. All right. Next question in from @PuzzlesNC_Bar. Who do you think are the Final Four teams this year?
Oh, man, that's a tough one there.
It's a crazy college basketball season.
I mean, the Big Ten's killing it. SEC is killing it. ACC is they are
it's
where
lower
they are.
than usual.
I mean,
I halfway thought maybe Florida State makes a weird run at it,
but then they lose to Virginia
last night. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think Virginia's a talented team, but they're not as good as they used to be because they lost a lot of seniors on a lot of key points. I am in firm belief though. That you will see Duke in the Final Four. I think Trey Jones is going to lead that team back, possibly to a national championship.
Yep.
I got to go with Ohio State. I think they're talented enough to get to the Final Four, but I think they'll lose.
They've lost so many games this year.
I think they're talented. But you know what? It's not what matters now. It's what matters at the end of the year when they get to.
I don't think it's Baylor.
I don't think it's Baylor.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust Gonzaga.
Hit the Paul Feinbaum button. They haven't played nobody.
They don't play nobody, Paul.
They don't play nobody, Paul. I look at it. I see Kentucky making a run. I think Duke gets there. I think whoever comes out of the Big Ten gets there. And then I think you have your wild card that's out there that's probably ranked 10 through 15 right now. That sneaks in. It's not San Diego State.
We can do it over reliable Wichita State. Or what about Dayton? Let's get a Dayton in there in the Final Four.
Why not? Dayton to the Final Four.
Dayton to the Final Four. Cinderella dance.
Next question is from @JacobTurnerTHI. What would be your walkout song, or what was your walkout song when you were pitching?
Oh man,
I'm gonna let you handle that one.
There's a plethora of songs that I went through during my college career and junior college. Shout out Lenore Community College Lancers. Thank you. My favorite one, I used Freak Unleashed by Korn, and then I used Won't Back Down by Jason Aldean when I felt a little more country. But I think my all-time favorite had to be, because I used a couple different ones, but I think it had to be Till I Collapse by Eminem.
Hey, I get it.
So,
I get it.
Rocked out to that big time. If I had to come in and close, I mean, that was the play button. That was my go-to.
Nice. Next question in from @BlakeRisk. Top 3 beers all time on draft.
Oh,
I like throwing out the on draft part there.
Oh man, on draft. That's a toughie right there. You like that?
So an Old Toughie's
Old Toughie's a solid one on
the
draft.
Carolina man.
I got to go with the Yacht Club and Linwood collab for the apricot. That was a very good, juicy beer.
Look at you now.
The
Shout out to Shaka Juice.
Yep, Shaka Juice is what it was called. R&D 7 Saturdays.
Wow, okay. All right.
Solid beer.
Yeah.
And I have to say Oktoberfest when that was out. I'm very generic
Which
beer guy.
Oktoberfest?
Oh, by Sam Adams is nothing better.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a generic beer guy. I like my stuff the way it is. As always, it was good watermelon beers. Even Oscar Blues, they had a good stout out for a while.
Yep.
That's solid stuff. Every French toast beer, too. If you make a French toast beer, I'm on board. But you know what I wish they put on tap?
What?
Iron City Light.
Icy Lights. Big fan.
Icy Lights.
Big fan.
How about you, Swanson?
You look at it, you look back on my birthday last year. What was on draft? Labatt Blue. You just can't go wrong with her.
Can't go wrong with Old Faithful.
All day drinking beer. You're at the beach with your buddies, your ladies, you're hanging out. You need something that can get you through the day. Labatt Blue gets the job done for me. Next, I go up to Asheville. Shout out to Burial. Surf Wax definitely gets the job done.
Yes.
Love me some Surf Wax beer. At the end of it, I like Trophy. I like Trophy Wife. It's a dang good beer. It's refreshing. It's got a little bit of bite to it. But at the end of that, I'd say those are the top three.
I think he's throwing a little hint at his wife right there, saying she's a trophy wife.
Oh, 100%. Who couldn't? Next question comes from at MC Miggs. Do the Ravens have a chance next year at winning the Super Bowl?
Oof.
I know Con touched on that earlier. But I think as long as you have a healthy Lamar Jackson, you're always in it.
If Lamar's healthy, they're in it. If Mark Ingram's healthy, they're in it. Their defense stays healthy, they're there. I think the AFC North is actually going to be a lot tougher next year. I think the Steelers are going to be back. I think the Browns are going to be good, and the Bengals are going to bangle. So I don't count them winning a whole lot of football games.
I got two more here that are pretty good. At CT Leonard 34 tweeted out, what is the best truck to have for someone that's looking at buying a truck?
Oh, F-150 Platinum, 100%. I mean, that's where we need to go. We just need to figure out what he wants, though. If he wants a 19, if he wants a 20, or if he wants a 14, because they're all different.
Get your Platinum. Get your Lab Dog.
It's got to be black. It's got to have the Lab Dog black. Got to have your duck calls hanging from the rearview mirror.
It'll be
with your
everything you
Drake
need
stickers
to,
and your Drake waterfall jackets.
Finally, at Ace and Jerome, looking at trying out golfing, do y'all play, and if so, where?
Favorite course in the area, I have to say, is probably the Noose down in Clayton. Solid course, not too tough, not too easy.
Yeah.
Good greens.
I think it's one of those, it varies on what you're looking for.
Yes.
Are you looking for the course that looks the other way on their cooler policy? Or are you looking for something that challenges yourself? Or are you looking for one where you can have a chance of hitting it on the fairway?
Well, and you know what? That brings up another valid question here. Do you want to play a course that's challenging? Is that if that's what you're looking for, I'd take you to AE Finley out there at UNC, because that course is hard, but it is awesome. Beautiful course, beautiful greens, beautiful tee boxes, fairways roll. Everything is nice out there.
And you're always going to have that. I think used to love playing at the AU club. Had a little bit of everything to it. Had wide open fairways, had tight fairways, good mix of a little water up in there. Always the greens very well maintained. I would say, if you're in the area or if you're having weather problems or something like that, shout out to Drive Shack. We've been there 2 times in the past 2 weeks. Had a blast. We played St. Andrews.
PJ National.
Played PJ National.
Their pancakes are made on the same grill as their burgers, so you get that little bit of grease in there. Awesome experience, especially the buckets of beer. You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with that. And the nachos. You get a lot of nachos for the cost.
Yes.
Too many people short you on nachos. Hey, we're aficionados.
They know how to fill it out, and that's the way it needs to be.
Yes.
Big fan of what they offer at Drive Shack. So, I don't know about you, but I think this has been a good talk tonight, and I think we had a great discussion, and we signing off from that tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Make sure you follow us at Swanson's Thoughts. We'll get ready for show number 2. And thank you again to Yacht Club Beverage House for letting us use your space tonight for the first one. I'm Swanson.
And I'm Thoughts.
And that's our Thoughts.